Hey small group leaders, so we are going to be doing monthly training videos now. That's how we're going to do a lot of our trainings for this year. So we will be sending one of these out to you each month, and they will be covering a different topic in leadership. So I'm excited to be starting these for you guys. Hopefully they're really helpful. But for our first topic, what we are going to cover is the idea of visioning and movement, and how those are really key for our small group ministry. So I once heard leadership defined as being able to take a group of people who are at point A and getting them to move to point B. So really the key in this is for us as leaders to be able to show our groups why is point B better than where we are at already in point A, and helping them to get there. So it's the idea of visioning point B and then helping them move to it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I think there are really two key things that will help us be able to do these in our small groups. The first thing is intentionality. Visioning really does take intentionality. If nobody is ever communicating the vision, then the vision is not going to happen. So as the small group leader, you need to be the one who kind of carries the vision torch in every week and says, yes, this is why we're meeting, this is why we're doing this, this is what we're pursuing. Right? That really does start with you, the leader. All right? So one thing that also goes along with intentionality is when we need to be the ones who carry the vision, we also need to be the ones who are intentional about the movement of the group, about the group moving to that point B. And so what that might look like is when you finish up a meeting, so your small group is met for the night, you finished up, is as the leader, you look back and you reflect on what might we want to do differently. Did what we did tonight, did that actually help us move to where we want to go? Or were we maybe getting sidetracked in all of our conversations? Are we not leaving enough time to pray for each other? Are we not leaving ourselves enough time to really do the Bible study? Or are we spending it all just like hanging out and catching up? Really evaluating those sorts of things. As the leader, taking a look back and saying, are we moving? And what could we do differently? Also, this is a fantastic time to actually reach out to your small group coaches. So you should be meeting with your coaches every month, talking with them every month. This is really one of the things that you can talk with them during that coaching time, is to be like, hey, this is our vision. This is where I feel like we're at. What might be some things that can really help us move to that place where we want to be? Another thing that I think is really important when it comes to the idea of visioning and movement is ownership. Ownership not just on you, the small group leader, but also for the other members of your group. So my own personal small group, back this spring, we had been meeting for a while and things weren't really working out. Our meeting times felt very stale. It felt like nobody was really super invested in it. It was something that we were doing because we knew we had committed to it, but it had kind of lost a lot of the drive. And so what we decided to do one day was we all met, and we sat down, and I went around and I asked every person in our group, why do you want to be here? What are you hoping to get out of this group? What are your expectations? And so everybody in the group got to share that. And together we got to decide as a group, okay, these are the things that we want to pursue. This is our vision. This is our point B. That's what we want to get to. And it was when we actually took the time to include everybody in that conversation, those people also became owners of that vision. They became the owners of it. It was their vision. And then they also, since they came up with the vision, and since we were all a part of that together, everybody also started to take ownership of the movement of the group. Everybody said, yes, I'm in. I'm going to help us move to that place. And so I encourage all of you, if you've never had a conversation like that with your small group, to actually sit down and really help them take ownership of what the purpose of the group is. And we actually have a tool that you can use that's really helpful, I think, in that. This is a tool that I've used with my group. It's really, really helpful. It's called the Small Group Agreement Form. So this form we actually do have. We can send it out to you if you'd like. It should have gone to every leader when their group has started. So for those of you who have been going for a while, you might not have it anymore. But really what the Small Group Agreement Form is it shows you what the win statement is for our small group ministry as a church, which is to provide a small group environment where people can take next steps towards loving Jesus and loving each other. So that's our overall win statement, the vision for the entire ministry as a whole. And then we also include some of our 6 foundations that we want to see happening in our small groups. And so I just want to go over these real quick with you all so you can already be thinking about, how do we want to work this into our group? How can I get my group members to really rally around this and take ownership of these foundations? And so the first one is spiritual growth and transformation. We want to be seeing people taking next steps in their faith with Christ in our groups. We also want to see care happening. Care for each other's spiritual needs, physical needs, emotional needs. We want to see that happening in our groups. Prayer. We don't want to be groups that just pray for each other when we meet. We want to be groups that are praying for each other regularly throughout our weeks, in between the times when we meet. We want to see prayer being a real part of the DNA of our groups. Also, we want to be studying God's Word, whether that's through our sermon questions, whether that's through one of the Bible studies that we have here at the church that are available for you all to check out. We want to have groups that are really focused and centered on God's Word. Also, impact. We want to have groups where they're not just inward focused, but they're actually outward focused. They're groups that are really keyed into, what is the impact that God has for us to make in the lives of the people that we know, in our communities around us? What kind of impact can God make there? And then also, community. Our groups, what we want our groups to be is safe and authentic places for people to be able to come in, to connect, and to take those next steps, to be able to experience that spiritual transformation. And so on our small group agreement form, we have all that listed, we have our values, and it's really a great tool to be able to sit down as a group and be like, okay, let's all commit to this. Let's all agree to take ownership to this. And then everybody in the group will have a really clear picture of what is that point B that we want to get to as a small group. And now we know how we can actually start to get there. And like I said, a lot of it really does come from you as the leader being the first person to step forward with the torch and be like, this is the vision for our group, this is how we're going to get there. So hopefully this is helpful for you all. Like I said, if you like, just let me know and I will send you and your small group the small group agreement form. I really think it's a strong tool for groups to be able to use to get started. But anyways, this is the video training for this month. We will be sending you another one this next month. So we will see you then.